So when we started thinking about a chateau or buying a chateau, that was actually initiated by Brett. Everyone is, probably from my family side and friend side, everyone assumes that it was me pushing to the point towards buying a chateau, but no, it was Brett. He wanted to buy the chateau.
Oh, well, we watched the TV shows, and in the end, you know, we were finishing projects in Melbourne, and I'm like, we need another challenge. So, you know, everyone thinks it was her idea to come back here, or to come to Europe, because she loves Europe, obviously. But, you know, I just thought we could make it work, and it'd be another great challenge. So we decided together.
When we walk further down here, then we come to the parts, what actually builds the tower. Here you can see it's all more kept in an Asian decoration. We also have to point out the big salamander here on top of the fireplace. This is why they actually call it the salamander room. And if you look into the fireplace, you can also find the coat of arms. The merlets we have explained in a previous video. The merlets without a beak and without feet, they are actually a sign for poverty. And they used it for the coat of arms. So this explained when they came back from the Crusades, the poverty that was within the country.
So it's showing a signature here, which we assume was the artisan or the man who built it, which is from 1901. The entire fireplace is made of marble. So you wouldn't want to lift it, but it's in incredible condition. And hopefully we can restore it and have a fire burn in there again. So the process about deciding to buy a chateau was very much that you look at the bottom end of the market because it seems a bargain, and then you just go up a little bit and a little bit, and then you realise to get everything you want, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. So we drove through a lot, and you know, we knew what we didn't want, we knew what wouldn't work, but you didn't know that until you got there and spent hours walking through them, because obviously they're big properties.
It wasn't so easy to, let's say, it was easy, but it wasn't, because in the end we saw about 14 chateaus, and this one was number 13, and the ones we saw before, even when, so how we did it was actually, we both said, oh, I want to see this one, I want to see that one, and then Brett wanted to see some, and there were different, and each chateau had its charm. Some were very renovated and looked beautiful, but nothing for us. Like, it wasn't a project anymore. It would have been an amazing, you know, home for us, one or the other, but it wasn't what we have here now. So in a sense, it was easy to decide, okay, this big chateau is what we want, and yeah, it was a bit more difficult because you really have to be up for it and you really need to know what you're facing.
This property Denise didn't initially like when we saw it on the internet. And it was only when we viewed another property that the agent said, well, what about this one? And when we came for a drive, I was sold when I saw the wall, because so many of the properties were in such disrepair. And then we walked in and we walked through this and we figured out how we could make it work. And hopefully it's going to work.
I hesitated a little bit more than Brett. Brett's eyes just lit up after we walked through. And I was sitting here, I couldn't say much. I was a bit confused because I saw the, let's say, half renovated part, and then I saw the very derelict part and the unrenovated part. And I knew that not only the renovation is something that I need to do or want to do, it's also the part when it comes to business. That's me. So my role is not only to be a full-time chateau owner in full renovation process, also that I want to place my business in here. And that is so much energy that you need for this, for 2 projects, business and renovation.
Once she walked through it and we talked about it, then she realised that the potential in this property.
If we walk through here, then this is my favourite part of the chateau. It's very well hidden, and you can almost believe this is where they would meet up to have secret conversations about where to go on the next crusades.
Possibly. So the ceiling is incredibly decorated. The beauty about this property is it's original. That's the good thing and the bad thing, but the tapestries remain on the wall, the ceiling is painted out, and obviously the furniture is very original. She's loving it, as you can see. The seats, if I move it into the light.
Yeah, if we really look into the details, this is all original. You can see the horsehair filled up.
I've also just found, and this looks like the original writing kit from the property with the stamps where they would have, it is too, where the stamps where they would have obviously sealed a letter and sent it on. So that was part of the reason we wanted to make sure everything from the property didn't disappear, because if we hadn't have bought this, it would have ended up in a brocante somewhere, and been sold for, you know, with no real relevance to the property. So it would have been a real shame.
And down here we have the full service of the original Chateau de Londigny plates and everything that belongs to it. The owners never used it, but on each and every single piece you can see the Chateau signature. We have probably about, I can only guess, it must be more than 50 plates and different pieces here that really can tell a lot about the history, but the better put it back. And also when you open up here are books and full of, we heard, so they left it here, but these are all records of the old...
the running of the house.
Yes, housekeeping.
Tut's mir leid.
Here you can find a very old service trolley. This is one of the features here in the chateau that really have been left behind since the first owners. A lot of the furniture in here is actually refurbished since the beginning of the chateau.
We've got a lot of silverware polishing to do. So it doesn't matter. Every time you open somewhere there's something incredible, which you can only imagine the people who've sat around when they had servants and had a wonderful evening. I'm wondering if this is, look, I was hoping it was a bell to summon the servants, but it's a corkscrew. It's
Didn't
very
you
practical.
look for one today?
Ding, ding. And, you know, all of these cupboards, we haven't been through them yet. All right, so obviously chess is a game of strategy. So sitting around a table like this, playing on a miserable day like today would be ideal. So I'm hoping all the pieces are there so we can set it all up. So it's another original piece in the property which is pretty special. So this coffee table here obviously doesn't date back to the turn of the century, but these are some of the pieces that we used when it was run as an Airbnb.
Yes, so this is potentially one of the first rooms as well that we would like to renovate, just because we can picture it as a beautiful lounge room when guests can come from upstairs and just sitting here around and maybe having a few drinks before they are going out for dinner.
Denise is bossy, passionate, fun, very clear about what she thinks and what she wants. Hardworking.
Brett can be very impatient. If we have a project or if there's a situation that needs to be done, or can be anything, but Brett hasn't got the ability, actually like I do, to stick to one thing for a long time.
Denise probably thinks that I'm driven, I'm passionate and fun and annoying.
Brett is an amazing he cares so much for friends, for other people. He would look after them like they're all family. And Brett does always consider people first. Also, Brett has the ability to really be handy and hands-on when it comes to renovation and repairing, and he self-taught himself a lot within the last years. And we actually learned from each other on the farm. And in Australia, it was always team play. So what I love is that everything that I couldn't do, he actually taught me how to do it. Like, for example, how to drive the tractor, and he would just put me on a tractor and make me work. So in the chateau, it will be the same. We will go from room to room and see what needs to be done. And if I can't do it yet, he will show me how to do it. Now I'm taking you up to the existing guest bedrooms, which we want to renovate within the next months and in the near future. And let's go. And now we enter the first level with the 4 existing bedrooms. Here on the right-hand side is the smallest room of the 4 guest rooms. This will become my future treatment room, as I plan to have accommodations and a spa business on site. Here's a little sneak peek. But now I'm going to show you the first and the biggest suite that we're planning to renovate. And come. Here we are going to the biggest guest suite, which we want to renovate for the future guests. I will give you a little tour and tell you what I actually plan in this room. At the moment, we call it the blue suite, as you can really notice all the blue and the colors in here. if we have a look onto the details here in the room, then definitely we can notice the wall covering. This here used to be a very beautifully span fabric, which the current owners actually only painted over, and we definitely have to change that. So the concept for this room will be more subtle, more monochrome colors. It will be a classic but also boutique design. Think of a beautiful carpet, think of more beautiful features like a landscape wallpaper, gold and black details. One of the unique features of this beautiful suite is the amazing view into the driveway and the little balcony. And now follow me to the bathroom. This bathroom is very dated at the moment. Now I'm sitting over the plans and the design, and I try to figure out how it should look for you in the future. This is where we are currently living, and is one of the other 4 guest suites here in guest wing. I'll show you a closer look, but I can tell you there's a lot of work to do. What you can't see is that the wallpaper is starting to come down, and the walls are all round because of the tower room. Do you know the fairy tale of Rapunzel? This is what it reminds me of. Okay, now I'm going to show you the last room of the 4 guest rooms. This one is pretty yellow, but come and have a look. In this room, Brett's son is at home at the moment, and we're just waiting for his girlfriend to arrive. The next months until summer here in France, in August, we try to renovate the first guest suite, the blue suite that you will see in the video, and also the smallest of the guest rooms, which is then the future treatment room. And in August we want to have the official opening of the business, and then further on we try to implement a spa area, maybe a sauna, yeah, that people can come here for packages or for the overnight experience and have everything, for their spa escape. Welcome to the right wing of Chateau de Londigny. This here will be our future living quarter. They will be upstairs actually, but I'm going to show you what they already renovated or started to renovate. And yeah, you better come in and I'll show you. This here was meant to be, the commercial kitchen that the old owners wanted to put in. But when we decided to buy the chateau, there were no further renovations. Over here, and Be careful because the floor is pretty wobbly. Over here, they renovated already the walls. They leveled the floor, and I can imagine to put a beautiful sofa in front of this big fireplace. And if you come around the corner, you can see what I mean. In this part of the chateau, they already put in double glazed windows, which means we will be more insulated from the cold weather. Okay, and now let's go upstairs. This staircase is leading up to our future apartment here in the chateau. In the renovated area, you can find two separate apartments there already planned. Here we call it 2 G's. In this opening, you can see how thick the chateau walls are. Isn't it amazing? We want to go to the small one first, and I'll show you where I plan to have my family when they come over for a weekend, or friends. It's a small area, but basically it is very well thought of. We have a shower, a toilet, a little sitting area, and in the back of the room you can imagine to place a bed. Unfortunately, in this section, the fireplace is sealed up. Maybe in the future we can make some of them work. This was our guest accommodation, and now I'm going to show you our future apartment. And here we have the first of the 2 bedrooms in the apartment. I plan to put a bed in here and make it our bedroom. And here is the second bedroom. Go and have a look. And now we're walking along a long corridor. I plan to put some pictures on the wall because you can't put anything else in here. And then you walk into the bathroom and shower. So nothing is done yet, but I plan to put on some beautiful tiles, beautiful shower screen, and I'm actually happy about the blank canvas because I can do what I would like to do. And over here, you can see the open kitchen area. This is not a big area, but it will keep us warm during winter, and it's just nice to have. All the other days of the year, I guess we will be pretty busy in the accommodation and the chateau part of it. So I will enjoy just putting some sofas up. So here I plan to put in a country kitchen, followed by maybe a little kitchen block, and just a 2-3-seater, just to keep it cozy and nice for us. Brett and I, we actually easily communicate to a sense that if he has got an idea or I have got an idea, we both learn how to run with it.
My way of communicating with Denise, I do what I'm told. No, yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because sometimes we'll have an argument about something and she's misunderstood me, or I've misunderstood her. But we understand what we're trying to achieve, and you know, I try and convince her if I don't agree. That usually doesn't work, and vice versa.
And then sometimes we do some additional, put in some additional ideas, but that's the building side of it. And sometimes, if it's just private, the communication can be just we don't speak the same language.
Denise and I do, despite what it appears, get along pretty well, in that we might be feisty, but it's over very quickly. And, you know, either I come around or she comes around, or we meet in the middle. And, you know, her challenge is, nothing that she can't do. You know, the language she'll overcome, the people she becomes friends with. Otherwise I wouldn't be embarking on something like this with somebody I didn't think was going to be able to do it. She'll do it. It'll just take more time than we both expect.
Abby, come.
Abby, come.
Come up. Good girl. To eat the roast.
And this is the original Mona Lisa. We've just borrowed it for the tour. All right, more rooms to go. We should be done in the next 3 hours.
Is this the Queen?
Possibly, but that would be the castle. There we go. We'll go and find out. Just driven, passionate, fun. That's maybe how I describe me.
What friends would say about me, like in Australia, they would say, "Oh, you're the hostess with the mostest." Do you want to marry me?
You're verloped, baby.
I'm verloped.
I'm verloped.